Okay, let's take a look now at some of the latest business headlines. And after the major tumble on Monday, the rally back on the Chinese markets, keeping today's figures in positive territory. Analysts saying that traders have been encouraged by the fact that the spread outside of China of that new coronavirus hasn't been spiralling. Moves by authorities also to support stocks providing cheer. The central bank in China pumping tens of billions of dollars into the markets. As you can see there, latest figures, it is green across the board. The Hang Seng just barely tipping into positive territory. The Shanghai Composite, though, up almost 1 percentage point. The Nikkei in Tokyo up 1.2%. Well, market analyst from FXTM, Han Tan, says that to feel the full economic effects of that new virus, we will, of course, have to wait a little while longer.
Yeah, seemingly. Now, I wouldn't necessarily quantify it as optimism as such. No, I think what we are seeing is just a lull in the risk aversion overall. I mean, I am no epidemiologist, but we're only about a month into the outbreak. So, until we receive the hard data about how much the outbreak has impacted the Chinese economy, until that happens, we could see more bursts of the risk-on activities like we are seeing in the markets today. But I expect the broader risk aversion to stay in place, at least until the situation stabilizes.
Now to a rather putrid problem here in France. The protests against the French government's efforts to reform the pension system have led to a strike among waste disposal workers. It means that here in some areas of the capital and in the southern city of Marseille, well, tons of rubbish is piling up on the streets. James Wilson takes a look.
Paris is one of the most visited cities in the world, but tourists don't come for this. Piles of rubbish can be found in the most picturesque of streets as local waste incinerators strike over pension reforms. And the Pont is making life hard for residents and local businesses too.
Customers walk past the restaurant, but they avoid us because there's a bin in front of us and there's a stink.
I don't know why they still haven't made a decision. Once you'd have just called in the army to sort it out. It's scandalous.
3 of Paris's main incinerators are affected by the industrial action. Workers don't like President Macron's proposals to reform France's pension system. Currently, rubbish collectors benefit from a special pension plan that allows them to retire earlier than most French people. President Macron's plan would mean they have to work for longer. This incinerator in Issy-les-Moulineaux, on the outskirts of Paris, hasn't burnt anything since the 23rd of January.
We usually dispose of 60,000 tonnes of waste daily, but today, 0.
As a result, piles of rubbish are building up, and some 5,000 tonnes are being moved by lorry on a daily basis to landfill sites.
We've already put in landfill more than half what we normally would in a year. It's an environmental scandal.
In order to tackle the crisis, municipal authorities have moved more staff into waste collection and are hoping to get the Issy-les-Moulineaux incinerator back up and running as soon as possible.
James Wilson there with that look at the streets of Paris currently.